I'm here again with another live stream, and I don't know about you, but it feels really dark. It's normal lightness. I know I'm doing everything all right here. I'm gonna try to fix that for a second. Gotta do my traditional pulling up everything. Very nice. So far things are going okay. Actually, never mind, it doesn't seem too dark. I don't know. On my end it looks really dark, but when I pull it up for what you guys see, it doesn't seem that dark. Well, that's nice. Nice and helpful. And as you can see, so for the first time we're having two gods in the title. Now if you made it to my last live, you would know that I talked about doing two lives, one on Tuesday today and one on Thursday coming up, but I decided to instead just make this live stream longer and talk about two gods today, because there was this problem that I kept running into when thinking about what I was going to say, draw, and do, is that this one god, to talk about it fully and have it be its own separate character, there would be a lot of holes in the story, because you need to know about Kali to explain Eve. And for Kali, that means when I did their live stream on Thursday, that would mean I would have the problem of I don't know what to talk about Kali, because I talked a lot of good chunk about that to Eve. So the way I decided to fix this problem is just to have both of them in the same live stream, and I will probably have this live stream be longer since we are covering two gods in one, but I think it will end up being shorter than if I just had two live streams. So I got their colors out. And the cover, as you know, I've been drawing their holy symbols. The cover is actually a combination of both their I totally did not forget something kind of important. The cover is the combination of both of theirs, the greens being E, which I'm coloring in now for this A, and the blue being Kali. I think this is how I'm gonna deal with this. I think I'm gonna do green all the way up here. And I'll take our blue, which does look very purpley, but it is blue. It is a blue-violet, which, I don't know. Since I am working in a traditional medium, I can't just make the colors whatever I want. So some of the colors are not going to look exactly how I want them to on this, which that's okay. We're working with it. It's more blue than New Ray's, but still close to it. Because I finally finished that, and also just for a moment before we get started. Of course, we have our wonderful Lady Wish. I'm taking an art history class right now, and so in part of our history class is while we're learning about a time period, we're making art based on that time period. For example, we covered a prehistoric unit a few weeks ago, and I finally got back what I made from that, and we painted rocks. So I decided to paint the Wish creation myth on a little rock, and I just wanted to show you guys that. Just a little cool thing. And yeah, I made another one for Alias. We were doing Aegean Society, so I made one for Alias with that. But I might have it soon, but I don't know if we'll be soon enough to talk into the next video of them. Oh yeah, Eve and Kali. Let me flip this over. And just these gods are probably the ones that I've been most excited for. Like, usually streaming once a week is just like, oh yeah, streaming once per week. That's quite a bit. But this one, I'm like, how is it not Tuesday already? Because I was so excited to do these two gods in particular. Because all the other gods before this, I kind of had a basic idea on how I wanted to know how they wanted to look. I knew kind of how I wanted their clothes and their things. I know a lot about their lore, but Eve and Kali are ones that every time I draw them, they almost look completely different every time. Yeah. And like even with them, I did not have their holy symbol drawn at all until this morning. Like a lot of the old holy symbols, they're like about 2 years old. So like for Alias and Nure, they're quite a bit old. But for even Kali, theirs is new this morning, so I don't know. I really was struggling what to do. Here is not the first designs of Even Kali. This is just the most recent designs of Even Kali. Just showing that in my sketchbook. Kali is the one in front, is the god of nature and what separates them apart, god of nature and of death. This is Eve in the background of the god of nature and of life. Which I have another drawing of Eve just because I felt like just have their face barely peeking out. I wanted to have more of Eve. So I did this back shot of Eve, which I don't really like the hair, and yeah. Which is why this one's gonna, these ones are gonna change the most out of all of them. So, but enough about that. I'm gonna get some of my stuff pulled up. Also, first of all, you should join the Discord server. I gotta keep promoting that. Links in the description. And on that Discord server, I have a little section that says socials and links, where I have all of my stuff, things that are coming up, like my Tumblr blog and my Phantaticus blog, as well as when my comic comes out, you will be able to find that there. And there's also another thing of a Lucid Spark I've been making that has all of my little god information. So I'm editing that now. So now that Eve and Kali are officially on my timeline. And so yeah, they are officially added to that. If you want to check that out, it is free for everyone to check out. The link is inside the Discord server, so join that and you can find it fairly easily from there. But we're already 10 minutes in, so I'm gonna get on drawing this stuff. Do do do. Okay, so first we're gonna draw their holy symbol. Now, with Eve and Kali, I mainly wanted to highlight their unity. After all, they are two separate gods, but they are like the most unified of the gods. Like, if you see one, 80% of the time, you're gonna see the other. That's the wrong one. This one. Yes, this one. And so that's one of the reasons why I wanted to draw their holy symbol to be able to represent each of them on their own, but then when combined they have something a more deep and true meaning, which is why I came up with what I ended up coming up with. So I'm just gonna have, this is gonna be Eve's side, this is gonna be Kali's side. So I'm gonna draw their, I think, okay, I'm thinking I'm gonna draw their combined holy symbol here, and their separate ones there. So I'm just gonna graph that out. And now, this is the time where I will zoom in for you. There, have vision. I will say, out of all of my gods, I really love these two. And I think it's mainly because they are the most, I don't know how to put this. They are just the most. So, down here I'm beginning to draw their holy symbol. It won't be perfect. I'm doing this on paper. I need to start drawing the official holy symbols on digitally again and putting them on my little lucid chart. But yeah. So right here you can see this is symbol supposed to be a lotus, which I'm sure, like, if you didn't know, I'll tell you now. A lotus is a symbol of life. It comes from, I know it mainly comes from Asian cultures. Like, if you practice Buddhism, then you are probably familiar with the symbol of the lotus, and of course its meaning of life. Which is why for Eve, I decided to draw a lotus, but I decided to draw it upside down. Not only because it helps me combine it with what I had planned, well, what I ended up coming up with for Kali, but is as a lotus of upside down, as when life is. Trying to find my words here. This is why streaming's bad for me. I need to really think and process my thoughts. So, life, both as its symbology of, well, life, it being upside down, well, you could say that also reflects death, highlighting the further relationship between Eve and Kali. You'd also say with Eve and just the in general personality of Eve, the the symbol could reflect the fact of their own personality, their almost insanity. I really wish I could explain this better, but I'm really struggling. Eve as a character is meant to be perceived as almost villainous. Though they are the god of life, they part of life is, well, the tragedy and change and chaos and natural disasters. Venomous snakes and spiders. All of that is a part of life. So while a lotus is like the beauty, the blossoming of life, life very easily, well, beautiful, almost symmetrical even, can very easily turn everything upside down in a moment. Which is why I decided to do the lotus upside down. And for Kali's symbol, which I'm going to draw on top here, I decided to do an arrow. Both because, while life in itself is very fleeting, it can change in a moment. Death is very direct, very strict. it's like life can come in a myriad of ways. It could be a miracle, it could be a blessing, but a death is always going to happen. A life can occur in 1,000 ways, but no matter how they occur, then, well, death follows. Which, kind of morbid, but it is what I kind of wanted these gods to be based off of. And the arrow specifically, while it also has that direction, that purpose, in a symbolic sense, for Kali specifically, how Kali died, which also goes into the representation of death, how Kali themselves died. It also goes into, well, they literally got shot by a bunch of arrows. That is how they died. Was by arrow fire. Now you may be wondering kind of what I'm doing here with these little details. Well, I wanted Kali's to be more than just an arrow. Both of these I kind of wanted more plain, but I wanted to have something more to Kali, so I decided to almost have like these little watery ripples to go with Kali, just to add a little more, and then you could also say that it's like the little legs of what they end up making together, which is a dragonfly. And dragonflies in symbology, they represent more change. They represent change and hope. Well, life exists is a miracle, and it comes in many different forms. Death will always follow. However, there is hope in that. There is beauty in that, even though it also is supposed to represent, well, metaphorical of both life and death. It is also supposed to be a representative of Eve and Kali's relationship, how everything really seems hopeless for them due to the very out of regions and tragedies on why they are the way they are, how they got to be the way they are. Or it is kind of, they are probably my most messy of the gods. And that was mainly intentional because both of them died very young. They are the youngest of the gods, with Eve being the same age as Wish. In other words, being the 8 years old when Eve died. But Kali is even younger, being 7. Also, one of the reasons why they are together, besides just being life and death, they died hand in hand on the same day. Which, if you remember, the 3 rules that have you become a god, which I talked about a few times, you would know that means that their birthdays were also on the same days. So their birthday, their death day, they died hand in hand, arm in arm with each other. Which is why these gods, it's why, since they died hand in hand with each other in a literal sense, that is why it's so hard to talk about one of them and not the other one. Just because, well, they're kind of, they go hand in hand. They literally died together. Which, yeah. Out of all these gods behave, even Kali, they behave the most differently from all the other gods. Not only, like, even the gods that have a strong union with one another, like, when I talk about Polaris, which is coming up, I'll be talking about him sometime in March, since he's one of the middle-aged gods, which You know, we've got February for the old age gods, March for the middle, and we've got April for the new. Isn't that nice? For the winter transitioning into spring period, old changing into the new. How cute. But yeah, that's that's pretty much all. I don't know what else I wanted to... No, I know. Never mind. I have it again. See, streaming is hard. It's very hard. So, when I talk about Polaris, you'll get to hear about this more. But he has a union with Alias, so it's the god of the stars and the god of the sun. And so almost every single temple of Polaris will also have some kind of iconography of Alias within it, as those gods have a very strong bond with one another. However, it's not like Eve and Kali. They are very much worshipped as their own separate deities. Well, Eve and Kali, if you worship one, you worship the other in some form. Which is why I thought it was important that when I designed their holy symbols, that I wanted them to mesh together well. Which is why I ended up going with this arrow and this lotus, which together on top, if you just turn it into a silhouette, it kind of looks like a dragonfly. Yeah. I think I'm changing my idea right now. Instead of putting them there, I'm just gonna put... Ooh, this is this is the smallest I've ever drawn. Hold up. I didn't mean to draw it so tiny. But I think it might be fine. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I drew that pretty small on accident. It's probably because it's the more detailed ones, but whatever. Goodness, where's my little lid thing? There it is. Yeah, I'm a professional. So, just gonna draw their little... You know what? I'm not even gonna sketch it out this time, actually. Changing my mind. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna draw... I might sketch it out for Kali still, but I don't wanna. Yeah, I would have looked better if I sketched it out, but that's okay. We're not here for perfection. We're here to... Yeah. My eraser's like dead, so it's by dead, it's very low. So I'm just gonna... One lotus below, another lotus petal. Huh. And you've... Kali, I think I'm just gonna go for it. I think hello, Miri. I know you said that you can earlier. You couldn't have sound, so I'll reply. I'll give you a hello smiley face. There you go. So yeah, I think I'm just... Yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm already going for it. There. Should have moved it down lower, but that's too bad. That's too bad. Just gonna move this down a little. Is it uneven? Yes. But that's okay. Again, we're not here for perfection. Just add all these colors to it. There you go. So, so we got the arrow of Polly and the lotus of Eve, and then we've got right here the dragon. Whoops. Those are words, they go together. Dragonfly of life. No, not of life. Sorry. Sorry, Collie, leaving you out there. Let's get dragonfly of nature. Dragonfly of life just kind of sound better, but I want to include both of them very explicitly. So. So there we go. We got their holy symbols up there. We got Eve's, Kali's, and their combined holy symbol, which I'm happy with how it came out. You can see the cover one has a lot more detail than this one, which I think it's just better to keep them more simple. I kind of just like was throwing things at the wall, scribbling that this morning. So, yeah. Now, let's go over to Eve. I think it's best to explain Eve first before we do Cully. Eve is a year older than Cully, after all. So, Eve, when talking about the pair, Eve is usually the one that I struggle with the most. And, well, simple, just basic lore of the two. Both of them are very young. Young, as said by the Eve died at 8, Kali died at 7. But unlike all the other gods that died fairly young, even if these two beat them by a milestone, because a lot of the other gods were, by a lot of the other gods, all of the other gods were at least a teenager before they died, except for these two. Even though, even the ones that died pretty young, like, we'll get into some that are like 16, like Alias. Alias chose to look older. Eve and Kali, they both chose to look the same. Which is an important thing to know. They both chose, they died young and they chose to stay young. And I will say, the reason why I decided to do this is mainly because I am a fan of, like, the whole child god aesthetic. Like, the god turned young and now is just kind of doesn't know what they're doing. Look at me pulling out another eraser. This is my mechanical eraser. It's only eraser. So, starting with the base, because they look so young, I want them to look more like an 8-year-old. I don't draw children that often, so throwing it at the wall here is gonna be kinda tough. And the next thing, which specifically affects Eve, is that I never know how I want to depict Fae. That's right, you heard it here. The god of life is a Fae. Because, like, you see it in the old one, like, I did those long, floppy ears. But I think I almost want to get rid of the ears to just do the antennae for Fae. And have fairies, they have the ears. So I think I'll play around with both, see which one I like more, which I'll probably end up liking the ears more. But then, so I'll probably say I mentally want to lean to just towards antennae, but I want to include. We'll just see. We'll just see. I don't know. Just gonna move around a bit, zoom out some, just so I can draw a more full-fledged body. Cause yeah. So well, I'm kind of doing this to finalize what they look like, so a lot of the traits for Eve's clothing will stay the same. Eve might change completely again, simply because of I don't know how I want to do Fae. There are some things I do know, which is why I'm actually gonna shorten these legs up here. Yeah. Because I wanted the digitigrated legs. Because I think a very cool, I'm just gonna move it down more, cool Fae design choice is having legs that kind of remind me of insects. They kind of end in these like sharp points. And have like skinny little legs. Which I'm gonna adjust it more just so the proportions feel like they can carry and actually lift a body on top of them. Nope. So I think that thighs are good. I just I think a cool design choice also, since I want them to kind of look more buggy, insecty like, is to have like these little prongs. Thank you, Marie. I appreciate that. Just gonna clear up. Trying to decide if I kind of want to. Like, that looks good. Like, I think I want to almost make this part here almost rounder, just to give into that like shape language a bit more. I think I'm gonna end up redrawing the head. But yeah, I think I'm gonna, just to give it a bit more shape language, I'm gonna kind of just make a lot of these shapes a little more, less, like they flow into each other, but then there's kind of like sharp. This looks more older, more adult in the proportions. What does a child look like? Goodness! Okay, so I think I'm gonna undo my idea, make it more like that, and then I think I'm gonna make their legs shorter, just to give into that more childlike body, because I want them to look childlike. They've got. I'll give them just the 3 prongs now. What does an 8-year-old look like? I'm doing an emergency Google search. Gotta find children. Stop only showing their face. I want a full body 8-year-old. This feels weird looking it up. It's only weird if you make it weird. Okay, 8-year-old. Getty's image stock 8-year-old. Why do their heads feel so big? Goodness. Okay, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good. I think I'm overstressing it. I think it's fine. I think the head will be redrawn how it was before. Because 8-year-olds have wildly big heads. In fact, it should probably be bigger, but I'm not doing that. There, look. Got a full body Eve. Hi, Eve. This is, look, I'll be a little silly goofy. Just line Eve. Back up so you can see her toes. Arms are my bane. I hate this. Arms. Arms and legs. They're the bane of my existence. I'm good at drawing the torso. That's all. I think I will. See me just drawing the things right by the torso because I don't want to draw the arms. There. Little hip dips because that's what human and fae bodies do. I'll write that. Fae explanation point. I think this is what I'm doing with the arms. Ah, ah. you can you can tell I'm struggling. Can you tell? And I think this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have that one arm up, this one arm down. Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, she's very cute. Eve's a cutie patootie. No, oh, no, 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 no. There? No, no, no. I don't like this at all, but that's okay. We're just gonna move on. So we're gonna get basic body type, and there. I'll start doodling faces because ah, hands are not my thing today. So we're gonna get just some basic head shapes going. These two look nothing alike. Goodness. Just kind of, yeah, whatever. That's fine. So now here's a big contention. Since I want them to be a fae, I want to like how wild do I want to go? I know like some people don't really give fae hair. They just give them like this fluffy fur instead of hair at all. Which I was thinking about that for Kali, but then I've also drawn like the more human hair. I think I'd like a little thing sticking out. I think that this is kind of what I want. Like I think I'm leaning towards the more fluffy, less human fae. Of course, we gotta try it out with like some ears. Actually, I'm not really liking the ears. I'm not liking the ears on that one. That's actually surprising. Oh, little fluffy fae color. So I think in fae, I always want them like just have little cat-like noses, and then of course like the big dark round eyes. Huh. Okay, so I think while I start doodling like some just throwing out some ideas, there's gonna be little I don't think I'll really have to talk over why I'm doing the things I'm doing. It'll kind of just be me throwing out ideas for the next while. So, let me talk about some lore. So, Eve is a fae. There's a few things that I do have figured out about fae. Fae, at least the fae in my world. Hmm. Okay. Actually, I'm having a moment of pause because I'm like, oh, what do I do? I think I'm just gonna quickly do a little something. Still don't like that. Okay. So, anyway, maybe like try to make some more detailed like make some more long equals. Hmm. 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 Kind of like a dumb little idiot face. We like dumb little idiots though. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. I don't even know why I'm saying okay. I just feel like I have to talk and I'm kind of losing my words because I'm trying to think about my concept ideas as I'm drawing them, as well as wanting to talk more in depth about the lore. But like, I think I'm gonna kind of draw this one again with like different perspective. Probably end up being more like here. Just kind of, so I do kind of want to have that little. To lean it more to that side, like what I was drawing originally. So, Fae in my world, Fae are pretty similar to like angels and demons in my world. I think I know how I want to solve this problem, but I'll talk. So, Fae are pretty similar to angels and demons. They both kind of operate off of souls, and yeah. I think that's my solution. I think maybe get rid of this little story here. I do kind of like that. I do maybe try to like. It's so much easier to talk about what I'm doing instead of giving a lore exposition when I'm doing this kind of stuff. Because I'm trying to come up with like ideas while I also talk about lore. Which it's kind of it is multitasking and humans can't multitask. Like that is just psychologically proven. I think I'm gonna draw just another like front facing little thing. I think I'll try maybe if I try to like almost swoop the little top fluffies, maybe if I try to like almost swoop it more, give it a little idiot hair or a hoge. It's a Japanese word. It means idiot hair. Which I'm mainly using it to break up like the shape. Since normally Eve would have antennae to break up the shape, but Eve does not, and we'll talk about it later. I think I'm just gonna save lore for later when I'm not trying to actively work on designing characters. Because that is proving to be very difficult for me to do. I think I'm definitely liking this one more. I'm liking I'm liking this one more. So I think my favorite one is like this one and do we throw on some ears? Do we try out the ears again? No, I still don't like the ears. Huh. It might be because I'm drawing them stupid, but I don't know, I feel like drawing them stupid. So I think I'm gonna have the things point this direction, but like this hairstyle. So I think I'm gonna end up like combining this one and this one. But now here we'll worry about how that looks on the face a lot more instead of just kind of like scribbling the face. Because it also partly might be the face, because I like this face a whole lot more. So I think we'll just try to draw a good face. Our tiny little cat nose. Little Eve frown. And our big eyes. Our big, dark, round eyes. Which I do want to give Faye some color in their eyes, but it's like their pupil's really big, almost always, so it's kind of hard. I think I'm gonna like accentuate these lashes more to look more mythical-esque. Now, do I want to just draw one? I don't like this lash looks ugly on the side for one. But gotta open up that eye more. So yeah. I think I just want to do like one long lash. Draw like a little swoop. Okay, actually, I am liking this. For the first time in ever, I'm liking an Eve design. Kinda, for the ivy, kinda. Just like some more little fur details, just to help separate the head up a bit more. I think, I think this is alright so far. And of course we have the little stray little idiot hair. Yeah. Yeah, okay. That's nice. I will say, I do think part of it is just drawing a little fluffy color. Since she's young, I'll give it like, I think I'll give it like a barely floof. Just, just some stuff to make the neck pop out. Not much more. Cause I like floof, floof, floof. Yeah. I bet this is a very awkward stream. I bet to anyone who goes back and watches it, I bet it's a very awkward stream. Just because I'm really trying to do stuff here, but it's kind of, none of it's kind of going right. I will say, I do like this. I do like it. That did go right, but I'm talking about the overall straight stream stuff. But I'm gonna move this down a bit, and we're gonna start like concept sketching some outfits for our sweet little Eve. Of course, we gotta draw our basic body shape just to start it out. I think that's a basic Eve shape. That's how Eve is shaped. And I think I need to draw another one just so we've got some stuff to work with. This one is less Eve shaped. Probably because I'm kind of just I'm suffering over here. So a lot of Eve designs, I gave them like a poncho, but I think I'd want to kind of be able to highlight and draw their arm. So I think I might kind of go for like a half look, almost. Draw legs, legs. Those are legs. I think, but like if I do that, I think I want to make it go further. Now that I have some legs to compare it to. Other arm here, cover arm. Bushy for neck. All kind of connect up here. Which here we would probably have the lotus pin. Yeah. So now that we got that leg, there, you have leg privileges, little Eve sketch. I think so what I was kind of thinking is to highlight that like god of nature, that natural aspect, kind of do like a cloak covered in like leaves. Which would kind of be very hard to draw, so I'm just gonna draw like a few little scattered leaves. Leavies. To kind of highlight the, natural aspect of all of this. Now, I will say, so, okay, I think I want to try to sketch. I think I should probably try again at lore expositioning because it'll make sense what I'm trying to do. In fact, actually, hold on. Idea. I'm gonna pull up something. Because I do actually have stuff written down for the Eve exposition, and I think knowing what to say will help me kinda think of one last thing. Just scrolling up. It is up. So, okay, now I can start giving exposition, and I'll start talking about both of them right now. So, Eve and Kali were always intended to be more mysterious creatures, more the gods. Like, they behave the most differently from all the other gods. Most of the other gods, they're present, their followers get active blessings from them. But for Eve and Kali, there isn't any of that. They are worshipped like as of beings of nature of self. They are worshipped as if they were nature. They are not People are not expecting them to give them magical blessings or gifts. They're kind of just hoping to be alive, to have a good harvest. They are worshipped like if they were weather, if they were the all of these conditions is making up the worth rather than deities. Like all of the gods, Eve and Kali in themselves, they are not nature. Like Nure isn't the moon, just the god of the moon. Same with Alias, he's not the sun. And Eve and Kali, they are the ones worshipped the most closely to their element. Like, I need to take a deep breath. I really do like this coat, but I don't know what I want to do like underneath it. Could just do. Sorry, I'm just looking up some Faye reference photos because almost always it's just little Levy dresses, and I don't want that. I think it's almost fine just to keep it like this. Like just because Eve is covered in fur and then just have this leafy cloak up there. I almost think that's fine because the more animalistic Fae designs, which is kind of what I'm leaning to, they don't really they are never really depicted with clothes. They're usually just depicted with like if they're depicted with anything, it's like fur or maybe some like leaves. But other than that, it's mainly like just these pretty flowy dresses, which is not what I want at all. So I think I'm just gonna kind of keep it like that. Maybe I'll put more on this side a bit, just a little bit. Yeah, I think I think that is just what I want, and then I don't know if I decide to add something, then well there will be something later. I think moving back up here, just before I think I'll draw like my basic cloak idea kind of on this body. Have Eve's holy symbol right there. I think I'll note that down there. Okay. So anyway, as I was trying to say earlier, now that I know what I'm doing, they work kind of like angels and demons, and that is a whole big chunk of lore that I'm not going to get into today. Hey, I've got a video idea planned on how and to explain how all of those things work. But Fae, pretty much, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard about the stories of the Fae going around and asking for people's names. And I decided to that interpret that is asking for a name is like kind of asking for your identity, and asking for your identity is asking for your soul. And souls in themselves are inherently very powerful things. So that's why the Fae asked for the soul, because, well, souls are powerful. Don't want to fully erase the body because I want to keep it there just for reference, for Eve reference. But I do want to make it just at least less noticeable, so I can just further this leaf cloak. But ooh, now here's a question. I think I want to give like a little hole on this side for Eve's arm. Yes. So that's kind of basic Fae stuff. They have antenna, they have wings. So now you may be wondering, where is Eve's either of those? Well, just like angels and demons, Fae are very inherently magical creatures. They are very powerful, and the magic just runs through them. Which is how they can utilize the soul more, because souls in themselves, while they contain magical energy, it's not really magic in itself. So they use it as more of a power source rather than to utilize its magic. It's just a magical power source rather than like actual how a magical artifact would work. Which, within that, magical artifacts are made out of more magical parts. A soul simply is the power source, but is not the actual magic within a creature. That instead comes from other parts, such as the little wings and antenna, things that produce magic. So Eve, as a character, had their antenna, which I think that's kind of what I want to do. I want to add like little nubs there, just to represent. The antenna and wings are cut off of Eve. Now that is probably, again, very dark, but that is a really big part. Like, out of all of my character lore, I think Eve and Kali have some of the darkest lore. Which, here, I'm just gonna draw like a back shot of Eve, just because it's kind of important to have a back shot of Eve. Oh no, I hate those legs. I hate those legs. Good thing they're barely on camera. I hate them. Anyway, another reason why I chose a dragonfly to be the shape that it makes up, both of its representation of a change, it's also because I wanted to give Eve dragonfly wings. That, as previously spoken, and you even saw in that one drawing of Eve that I showed at the beginning of the video, you are there for that. They have been torn and they've ripped off. And, well, yeah, there is magic in them. The main purpose of getting rid of both these features is just to better contain them. Because, well, now can't fly, so easier to contain. And you don't have to worry about a roof and all of those other things. As well as it would be easier to take out and not have to worry about such things. And for antennae, they use them to kind of sense the area, to look out for danger. So a Fae without an antennae pretty much gets a lot more stumbly and pretty much doesn't know what they're doing. It's been over an hour and I feel like I haven't done that much. I mean, I have done a lot. Here's a hole in the leaf cloak. These are not little pokies. I think one thing that I also do want to design for Eve, I'm just gonna use these little top ones that I didn't really end up caring for. Cause I kind of wanted to give like that flower like add into the lotus motif, or not necessarily lotus, but just to design with more care. I'm gonna erase this little hair I have going on here, just so I can focus more on like little flowers. I think it'd be cool to make it more flower heavy this side, and just like some vines going down. Hmm. Hmm. I think I'm gonna try to draw something like that here, since this is more similar to what we have going up there. Various flowers, various flowery shapes. And I think when I end up adding color to Eve, I think I want to make Eve really colorful. Just to add into that just feeling of like life and nature. Because I think now this is just like a basic Fae child design. And like it doesn't look too god-y, which is something that I've been trying to change for all of my gods. And I think adding something like a dress headpiece of feathers and flowers, I think that really helps add to that. And I think I'm gonna add like a lot of that throughout the little leaf cloak I ended up here. I think I'm gonna just draw little flowers. Of course, we gotta keep Eve's little spots. Eve's always had face spots, and that was something that I was like unwilling to change about Eve. Add some more flowers around. Maybe add like a bigger flower here to kind of like, while it's still asymmetrical, it does add like that balance, that harmony to it. Which, oh, my thing is frozen over here. Oh no. So I think I'll add like more floral designs here. But then a bit of it throughout. I think it'd be fun drawing like some unique flowers. But I feel like this we're starting to get too over the top to the point where it's too much. So I think I'll mainly work this on adding these details just up here. we go. think really circle that one. I think, where is my little white gel pen over here? Don't think it wants to cooperate with me. That's alright. I'll grab my other little white gel pen. That's over here. Ooh. Here's my other white gel pen. There we go. I didn't really like how those dots look, but I don't know, I feel like they'd be better suited up here. There we go. Okay. Such silly little creatures. There we go. And now I normally design them like before they become God, or like New Ray. I design them when it's new God. For Eve, I think for Eve I'm just gonna draw a little head down here. Like I want to draw them kind of like with their antennae on, simply because they really look the exact same almost. Because they didn't have their wings or antennae, like they already lost those way before becoming a god. So I think I'll draw like a cute a little even younger Eve. Draw their little nose. Draw their big eyes and lashes. I'm not really trying, I just kind of want to get the basic idea across. Other spots. And then draw. The most important part of drawing this thing was to draw some antennae. Which, these are much too long. He's a child. So, draw. I was gonna draw the frilled. I think I want to draw the more feather antennae. Dragonflies do have the more. Hold on. I think maybe Go back on my word. I think I might want to draw like the more ball-like antennae, and then just add some more feathery, floofy fey aspects. And I think that's gonna be what their antennae would look like if they had them. So. I do not know how to spell this word. Is that? I think that's right. I think that's right. I don't really like how this sketch came out, but I do like our little final product, Eve. So now that we're lining, we can start the Eve lore dump. So, as said, Eve is a fae. Hey, fae and humans have been almost at war for a long time now. And it's simply because of the human need to like expand, to explore, and the Fae need to be like, hey, this is our forest. Why are you cutting down the forest? Hey, what are you doing? This is our home. Get out. Which, that inherently causes like some conflict between them. And both sides they do play a little dirty. And for the human side, they've, especially during this older time period, there's a big thing going around with the selling off of the parts of magical creatures, bidding on them, which you'll see that even more when we start talking about Kali more. Um, but yeah, with Eve was pretty much captured because of being too reckless. The actual story of how Eve originally got captured is Eve saw like this exploring around, found this small human town going way past the bounds of the Fey Forest. And within this town, she met this human, this like just young little human child. And since Eve herself was closer to like 5 at this point, didn't know about a lot of the conflicts going on between the two species, just ends up like playing and being silly. Now, humans, they're weary of the Fae because soul stealing, even though they never really steal souls, they make deals for them, but still, which that ends up getting Eve in big trouble. They end up like pretty much calling a extermination team just to remove Eve from the area, which led to Eve being captured. And since Eve like tried to run, it did lead to other younger Fae that's lived kind of on the outskirts of the Fae forest to get captured as well. And this led like whole big down spiral. This led to. So Eve is now captured by humans. This is where Eve does view a lot of this event just in hindsight as like big her fault, not because of the fact that he himself got captured, but it's the fact that he got other Fae hurt because when he tried to like, escape and run away, of course he's going to like the only place he really knows, which ends up getting other captured and hurt as well. Which Eve has a lot of regrets, and that is one of the major ones. Which, we'll see that fester later in the story. So, being captured, the first things to be removed were, of course, the wings, so Eve couldn't do much. And then a part of it was kind of experimenting with what they can do, with how far they can take all of this. They end up like taking the antennae, both to disorient Eve, because they weren't really sold on the market. They were going to be killed. No one was keeping them as little pets or goofy little things. They were meant to be killed and to be an example of. So taking away the antennae, since especially for like a lot of actual insects, the antennae very much they help with senses, they help with communicating emotions. Taking away these antennae were a sense of disorienting Eve in a way where Eve would be more prone to violence simply because she didn't know what was going on, because the main form of communication, of scent, was taken away. So Eve was pretty much had no these antennae, was lashing out at things because everything seemed like a danger, and at this point Eve was right. Everything around was kinda a danger, but it still was more violent than what one would act like normally. Which, of course, that made people even more scared of them. So, and that's pretty much what keeping Eve around was meant to do. It was meant to use Eve as a way to fearmonger, just to make people scared. Of the people did what happened right as right when Eve died. And well captured in this prison, not really knowing what to do, being mostly disoriented, confused, definitely scared, hurt severely, that ends up kind of leading to what we have with Kali, how Eve met Kali. Also, just a quick explanation what I'm doing here. I'll talk a bit later, but Eve is covered in burn scars, especially on their lower half of their body, and I just wanted just to scribble on some basic little burn marks all across Eve, because you died in a fire, which again we'll get to that in a moment. So this is kind of being captured, being used to example, probably and knowingly going to be put to death sometime soon once they finish using them to add to the fear going around, or fear surrounding Faye. Which that goes into where and how Eve met Cully. Now, Kali, as you'll see when we start actually drawing them, is this manta ray-like creature. Their species is said to be have like dragon's blood and descendants. Think of, when describing the species, think of kind of like a mermaid, but instead of typical mermaid, think manta ray. Sorry, I had to write that, so I needed to focus for a moment. Which the special trait for this species is that it doesn't start out like the typical mermaid body with like the tail, no legs. It actually starts out with legs, which, and then it loses them as it develops more. Which I'll work on an explanation for that. I'm gonna have an explanation for that, but I don't have one right now. Now, they have a tough leather hide, these creatures, which again, I'll work on creature naming and all of that hopefully soon. But yeah. tough leather hide that was great for armor and like especially when making stuff used to fight things underwater like sea serpents. It was their hide was great to use for sea serpents because it was really tough, but it also was like really slick and it was easy to wear and still be able to maneuver around the water, which is what kind of made them so valuable in the sense, which this ended up leading to they had this tactic. So because their hide was so tough, it was really hard to actually hunt down these creatures, especially as an adult. So what they ended up doing is instead of hunting them down, they would instead just capture the younger ones they found, put them in captivity to allow them to grow up a bit more before killing and harvesting them, because now they're in a enclosed environment. They don't have the whole open ocean, so it's much easier to actually use all the resources you have to take them down. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. I don't know why I kept that drawing that second lash. I did add another little lash there, but not really much to count for. I forgot to draw your shots, I'm sorry. So, like I was saying, Kali was one of these that were trapped, caged, and they were both moved to a place for kind of the bidding process. However, it was a more special area because neither of them were gonna get sold off and bidded for. After all, Kali was still nowhere near old enough for when they would actually kill him. And Eve was just meant to be used to, well, put fear in the eyes and minds of the public before they end up, well, killing. Like, either way, both of them were death. Neither of them were going to be sold, which is why they were put separately from a lot of the other things. Of course, there were other creatures there, but not much. Which goes into Eve's deal. Eve, being a fae, decided to propose something. Hey, if you give me your name, or shall I say, give me your soul, I can use that. No. What on earth am I trying to say? I can use the magical energy from said soul to be able to free us both. Kali, having really no other choice, decided to say yes. You can have my soul in return. You free both of us. Which, with that deal, they had the exchange. Eve now has possession over Kali's soul. And I'm kind of out of breath. I need a drink of water. Goodness, I'll go do that. Honestly, there's really no one watching, so I really need a drink of water. Goodness. So I'm gonna just pause for a moment. I'm gonna set my pen down here, and then when I come back, I'll start twirling the pen. Cause since there's really, I guess there is another person watching. I'll be back in one moment. Okay, I'm back. I got my agua. Mm. Remember, remember, kids, hydrate or die straight. Ugh. Where was I? I actually have no idea where I was in the story. I think I'm just gonna quickly, as I'm trying to find where I am, I'll write a little. Ooh, why did I keep doing that in pen? Okay, burn marks. There you go. All of my notes are in pencil. Now I have the one in pen. Whatever. Whatever. It's whatever. So, um, okay, so Kali ends up giving Eve their soul. Eve, with this new strength that, well, wasn't intended for by the people who made the cage. It now kind of led to a whole thing. Kali, Eve kept the promise. Okay, one thing about the Fae, they are very honest. They hate liars. They do not lie. So, you can barely see that arrow. So, kept the promise. However, a part of that, there was never one part of that promise that suggested that Eve would ever give the soul back. Which then leads into our next conflict. Now, owning a soul goes into many different ways. When you make a deal for a succubus, for example, they say as a you have this now. But, however, I get to take back your soul since you sold it to me. Your soul is now rightfully mine in like a few years' time. Because as soon as they have your soul, they really kind of take you as a person. Which, I will say, I never know why the colors look so dark on my camera. look so much better here than they do there. Because I will say the blue is pretty similar, but the green is completely different. So that's a little upsetting. So yeah. When you take, so they take the soul, they take you, pretty much. And since this soul was traded over, it's now in Eve's possession, Kali couldn't go home. Now, Kali said yes. Kali wanted to go home, wanted to get freed from this cage, to not be killed, even though Kali didn't know that she was going to be killed, but wanted to go home. And Eve said, hey, I'll break you out. And Kali took that as a, oh, you break me out, therefore I will get to go home. No. That is not what that meant. At all. Which sucks. Oh, can you not? Oh. I thought it was more aligned. No, you can barely see what I'm doing over here. Hold on. It's gonna... Rough processes over here. I think I want to move this. I want to move this more up. I'm just gonna move this entirely. Just so you can actually see what I'm doing. Over here. Because now I'm working on drawing Kali over here. So it's like, okay. It's like, okay, well, will you help me? It's like, okay, thank you for freeing us both. And Eve's like, no problem. Now come with me. And it's like, oh, are you gonna take me home? No. Like, what do you mean you're not gonna take me home? And it'd be like, that wasn't part of our deal, and I have your soul now, so you are mine now. And it's like, what? It's like, yeah, I have your soul, so you are now mine. Because in order for you to leave with past so far, because if you have the soul, you as a person are kind of tethered. You can't go too far away. Like, think of it as like a spiritual leash you cannot see. It's like, oh, well, then can I have my soul back? You used it to free us, and be like, that wasn't part of our deal. He's like, oh, well, how do I get my soul back so I can go home? And be like, okay, you help me accomplish my task of freeing the other Fae, which Eve views herself as responsible for getting all these other Fae children trapped and captured due to their recklessness. And Eve's like, hey, you cannot see what I'm doing either. Just there. Now you can see what I'm doing. At least you should be able to now. So like, it's like, I need to, it's like, I know other Fae that have been trapped, and so I want to free them. I need your soul in order to free them. So help me free these Fae, and I will give you back your soul. And Kali's like, having no other option, is like, okay, I will try to help you. Once again, hating how these legs are coming. I don't want to give Kali digigraded legs. I'm like doing that accidentally. Maybe I should just give in. Give in. Draw digigraded legs. Just give in. Give in to evil. I'm not good at any legs, but I'm better at digigraded ones. So, now that we have those, I am. I'm really excited. I'm super happy that I'm drawing this. I'm super happy everything's going well. But I'm really tired right now. Which is my fault. I stayed up pretty late last night. So, I don't know. My thoughts are not thoughting right now. Yeah. I will say, for Eve, not Eve. I'm already messing up. Goodness. Spent so long talking about Eve. For Kali, I did want to make Kali thicker. In the sense, like, cause more blubber to help stay warm in cold oceans. Cause the ocean found in was quite chilly. It wasn't like a cold ocean, but it was like a temperate ocean. Like, I'll put hand up here, joint right here. I'm having a good time. Are you? I hope you're having a good time. One person that is currently viewing. That is so. Actually, nope, that is so wrong. I gotta move that joint up there just to make the arms arm properly. Yeah. So yeah. I think I'll take a pause in the lore right now. I'll continue it in a moment because I do kind of want to just explain what I'm doing when I'm actually sketching the things, but when I color and ink everything, that's kind of when I want to talk about the lore. If that makes sense. So again, for Kali, I wanted to be just have a little more sustenance to their figure because, well, aquatic creature found in temperate oceans, dragon-like thick hide. Ooh, no, 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 no. There's their collarbone. Here's the neck. And now we'll draw the head, too. I am not doing well today. I almost just want to turn off the camera and take a nap, but can't do that. I'll be better than that. So for Kali, I wanted to lean into more of the dragon aspects. So they've got these little claws on their hands. And most importantly, they've got their little manta wings. And a tail. There we go. I'll erase this. What's this? We've got a figure! Hooray, hooray! Like, I'm sure you saw, like, Kali had the little bob before. I was thinking maybe... I liked it because it was supposed to be like fins as hair. But I think I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. I'm just gonna pull it up for me reference again. Because I do and I've always had liked the thin hair idea. But I think I'm gonna just do it by kind of making it look almost more fin-like. I'll lean into the thin hair more. I'll have these little long, almost gelatin-y things. Because I do kind of want to add to that, ooh, mystical god feeling as well. Put some spines up top. Ta-da! Honestly, I should have, honestly, I might erased all of that right now. I forgot to do, I kind of just went in for it. I'm gonna do some sketches. Let me move this down here so you can see what I'm doing. So I kind of want more rounder face, just so I can kind of work with what we actually will end up having. And I won't worry about drawing all these little faces out on it this time. I'll work on little spines, and more importantly, little floopies. Floop, floop. I think this is kind of one idea. And then of course, like the more thick, choppy, thin hair that I had originally. Ooh. The EP is hitting me again. Okay, we're not done until we're done. I think I'm gonna erase all of this here though, just real quickly, just so I can feel like I'm starting more fresh, because I'm gonna try to lean to that just so I don't have to draw it again. Well, now I have to draw it again otherwise, so sucks for me. So I think, so draw their round little head again. And I'll do that line of little fins, and then I'll kind of do more similar to what I had before. It's more high up here. The shape goes like this. And there. Okay, let's just look. I'm trying to push through it right now. Sorry for the bad stream. I'm dealing with it. So I think now I'll try the more like this fit style. I am liking this one more, which is the one I erased. But hold up, hold up, hold up. I'm thinking. Actually, no. Technically, the one I have erased is more so like that one. So I think maybe instead of like the thin little lines, like I'll lean into that. I'll draw these bigger pieces. And then kind of fin. I'm gonna do a little Google search real quickly. We're gonna try different types of fins. It's just giving me the different places, like the okay. Don't really like that. Can maybe eh, eh, eh. Okay, okay. I am not doing well. Like I am struggling coming up with ideas. I feel like I am melting. We finished Eve's design. We do need to finish Collie's. So I think what I'm going to end up doing, I think I'm going to end up streaming on Thursday, where I'm going to finish this page and finish this story. So just know, I just want to end where we left off. We left off with the Eve and Collie. We told the story of Eve and Collie in the build-up to why they are both captured by humans. Here, I'm just gonna zoom out just so you can see everything. So, woo. Okay, so we talked about like the Eve and Kali, kind of how they're really different from all the gods, and it's mainly has to do just how people worship them or go about all of that. And talked about how they ended up meeting. Both of them were captured. And we go to how Eve ended up freeing Kali with the price of the soul, and Eve's goal of all that. So we covered quite a few early ground stuff, and next time I will be more leaning to talking about Kali, of course, since we're more heavily talked about Eve this time. And yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just having a long pause of disappointment because I really wanted to do this, but I just don't think I can right now. I'm gonna go take a nap, and I'll see you on Thursday. Yeah, it feels like waving to you. So yeah, this is uh, welcome to Phantaticus. We only covered the green, not the blue, so I think I'm just gonna try to dive straight into it next time. Well, yeah. I'll make sure to get more sleep on Thursday. And bye.